Hello, you are watching Shalom World News. I'm Rory McLennan coming to you from Glasgow, Scotland. Here are the latest headlines from around the world. Yet again, Pope Francis has made an appeal for peace and has entrusted his prayers to the Blessed Virgin. Addressing pilgrims gathered in St. Peter's Square after the Regina Caeli prayer on Sunday, the pontiff said, quote, "Spiritually kneeling before the Virgin, I entrust to her the ardent desire for peace of so many people who in various parts of the world suffer the senseless disaster of war." He made a mention of the faithful who gather to venerate the Holy Mother in the shrine of Pompeii, adding that he too kneels in supplication for peace. Pope Francis also presented the sufferings and tears of the Ukrainian people to the Blessed Virgin. He also reiterated the appeal to pray the Rosary for peace every day during this month dedicated to Our Lady. Ever since the beginning of the conflict in Ukraine, the Pope has made repeated appeals for peace in the country. As the fighting rages in Ukraine, President Volodymyr Zelensky has said that at least 60 people who had sought shelter in a school in Luhansk were killed in a Russian bomb attack on Saturday. As many as 90 residents of Bilohorivka had taken shelter in a school basement when it came under aerial bombardment. 30 people managed to escape. Governor Serhiy Haidai said on Telegram that the locality suffered intense bombardment last week, with the bombing destroying the school. He said it took firefighters 3 hours to douse the flames. UN Secretary-General Antonio Guterres expressed shock over the deadly attack, adding that civilians must not be targeted in times of war. Meanwhile, members of Ukraine's Azov battalion in a steel complex in the devastated city of Mariupol have reiterated that they will not lay down their weapons before the Russians, who have laid siege to the complex. As many as 56 American priests will crisscross the country for the next 3 years, interacting with believers and fostering faith and devotion towards the Eucharist. This is part of a national Eucharistic revival that will formally begin on June the 19th, coinciding with the Feast of Corpus Christi. The initiative hopes to bring about a Eucharistic revival across the United States, as the Church in the country is facing an existential crisis of belief in the Blessed Sacrament. The 56 priests come from various dioceses and religious congregations, and they were handpicked by their bishops and superiors as dynamic preachers with a particular love for the Eucharist. The priests will take part in gatherings of diocesan and parish leaders, offer special masses, officiate at Eucharistic holy hours, and conduct retreats. The 3-year initiative will come to a close with a National Eucharistic Congress in Indianapolis in 2024. Archbishop of Perth, Timothy Costelloe, has been elected as the president of the Australian Catholic Bishops' Conference during the plenary meeting of all prelates in the country. He replaces Archbishop Mark Coleridge, who served as president for 4 years. As he turns 75 in September of next year, he is ineligible to seek a third term. Archbishop Anthony Fisher was re-elected as the vice president for another 2-year term. The tenure of the two archbishops will begin on July the 13th, after the Second General Assembly of the 5th Plenary Council of Australia. Archbishop Costelloe was appointed Auxiliary Bishop of Melbourne in 2007, and 5 years later he was named as the Archbishop of Perth. He is also the first Western Australian to be elected as President of the Episcopal Conference, and also the first member of a religious congregation to become the head of the body of bishops. For Catholics in Pakistan, the 2nd of May was a day of rejoicing as a new church was blessed in Taxila, the place which is believed to have been visited by St. Thomas the Apostle during his evangelical mission to the East. Along with several priests, Archbishop Joseph Arshad of Islamabad Rawalpindi led the consecration ceremony of the new church that is dedicated to St. Thomas. He blessed the doors of the church and consecrated the altar before proceeding with the Eucharistic celebration. The church is located in Taxila Cantonment, which is believed to be the place where the apostle preached to the poor. A large number of believers, nuns and catechists were present during the consecration. It was in Taxila that a small cross was excavated in a field near the ancient city of Sirkap in 1935, pointing to the advent of Christianity in the region during the early years of the faith. An English Catholic bishop has blamed secularist ideologies for pushing young generations in the West into a state of religious ignorance. Bishop Mark Davis of Shrewsbury bemoaned the state of ignorance of Christians in the West, where Pew polls showed that a significant number do not know the meanings of Easter or Christmas. He made this observation during Mass celebrated at the tomb of Venerable Elizabeth Prout, who is also known as Mother Mary Joseph. He said that a similar condition existed at the time of the nun, who was the co-founder of the Passionist Sisters. Mother Joseph tackled religious ignorance in Angel Meadow, one of the poorest parts of Manchester, during the 19th century. The prelate said that the vulgarisation of femininity and the dislocation of families pointed out by the nun still exist today in diverse forms. He added that in order to foster the new evangelization, it is essential that believers be told of the lives of saints and other Catholics who gave their lives for God and for the Church. Tennessee in the US has become the latest state in the country to pass anti-abortion legislation. On Thursday, May the 5th, Governor Bill Lee signed into law House Bill 2416, which prohibits mail-in abortions. According to the law that goes into effect on January the 1st in 2023, sending an abortion-inducing drug through courier, delivery service or mail is prohibited. The law also says that all hospitals and other facilities that give abortion-inducing medicines must also register each abortion performed on prescribed forms. Those who violate the law will be charged with a Class E felony and upon conviction will be fined an amount up to $50,000, be imprisoned for a term up to 20 years or both. However, the law doesn't penalise the individual seeking an abortion. The bill also requires that the patient be examined in person and that the doctor inform the patient that they may see the remains of the unborn child after an abortion. The Catholic faithful in Uganda have raised concerns over a series of thefts in churches wherein burglars have decamped with sacred items and other equipment. The robbers are targeting Catholic churches in various dioceses of the East African country. Hundreds of churches in Uganda have had their windows and doors broken at night time, and items such as public address systems, furniture, curtains, electric wires, food, laptops, lights and money in offering boxes have been stolen. According to Father Henry Kiganda of St Jude Catholic Parish in Lukaya, at least 6 churches have been looted in less than a year in the Masaka diocese alone. He added that most priests around the country have been forced to keep churches locked, especially when no ceremonies or masses are taking place. Some parishes and dioceses can afford to install security systems and CCTV in order to deter criminals, whereas some cannot, forcing the churches to remain locked. And those are your latest headlines. Do join us again tomorrow for more. You can also visit swnews.org for more updates. Shalom.